Big breaking news, man, on the basketball realm. As I've been saying, the season is heating up, man. We got Jon Scheyer, one of the better basketball coaches in obviously college basketball, man. So he just received a major extension, 6+ years, all the way through the 2030-2031 season. Big pay bump for him as well. He's done his thing with Duke. I think last year was one of their best chances to win that national championship. Came up just short. I have been a little critical of Scheyer in some regards. Not that he's not a great coach, but I think when you have elite players like the way he has, you got to win a title. I think they were close last year. Cooper Fly was the best player in college basketball, in my humble opinion. I felt like they should have played, Isaiah Evans more. Now, look, they had another top-end recruiting class. And like I said, with 89 wins in 3 years, he deserves this extension, 100%, right? But my thing is, I want to see him be able to go as one of the lead coaches, right? When you think of a Todd, a Golden, you think of, obviously, a Dan Hurley is a two-time championship coach, right? The recruiting's there. I'm not worried about recruiting. It's just in those certain moments when you're playing a veteran team like a Houston, or you're playing a team that's been there, done that, when you have the youth that they're going to have mixed with a sprinkle of veterans, right? Getting the right lineups going, getting the right players in at certain times of the game so you don't miss or have a drop-off. I think it's going to be something I'm going to be watching this year for Jon Scheyer and Duke. Now, look, you got one of the best, probably players coming into, the sport this year, right? You think of AJ DeBonster, you think of Darren Peterson, you think of Caleb Wilson, and you obviously have your guy in Cameron Boozer, who should be obviously a top player this year in college basketball. And he can practically do it all, right? But then you also returned a couple of your players from last year, too. Yes, you lost Flag. Yes, you lost Malawatch. And yes, you lost Knuppel. But now you got a guy with him and Caden Boozer, who we'll see if he starts, but may come off the bench for Duke. But a guy that can come in, you can insert, and he can do his thing. But I want to see the progression of Isaiah Evans. I think he's a, sharpshooter extraordinaire. I think he's a guy, if you give him the ball, he's a flamethrower, man. I want to see him more involved in this offense. Now, ACC Media Days is also right around the corner. This will be next week. And coming with Coach Scheyer, obviously, is Caleb Foster, the true freshman. Appeared in, I think, 38 games last year. Only averaged about 5 points, but should have a bigger role. Obviously, like I said, if you don't come with a coach to this event, that if you come to the coach with this event, you're definitely going to have a bigger role this season. So he's one. And then Malik Brown, right? He's obviously Duke's best defender. He's a guy that can play out in the perimeter, can play in the interior. He's a versatile player, so he's also going to come with Coach Scheyer, which, like I said, it makes a lot of sense. Both of those are coming, but that's what I want to see. I think Coach Scheyer takes that next step as a head coach with development, right? How do these guys look in year 2, right? Because like I said, not everybody's going to go to the league that first year, right? Isaiah Evans tested it, but decided to come back. Foster decided to come back. So those guys, how will they look? Can they take that next step forward in your regime? And I think when he has that at a consistent basis, and his team's consistently in Final Fours, like how they did last year, which was great, I think then you'll say, okay, yeah, he's one of the best coaches of this era, right? And obviously, that's still early to say. We know Hurley's already in that conversation, right? Can Golden go back-to-back with Florida, right? Bringing back the most of his front court with Condon and several others, but retooling, players that are coming in now, with Boogie Fland and several others, right? But if you're Coach Scheyer, great extension, but now do you take that next step with this Duke program? Get them a national championship. And remember, Duke last won a national championship in 2015. So we're going on almost 11 years now since they've won a title. Just want to point that out there. But nonetheless, a congrats to Coach Scheyer. This wasn't to be overly critical of him. This is just to say that it's well-deserved. 89 wins in 3 years. But I just want to see the growth and progression that this team takes forward or takes moving forward in the progression of his players. I think if he continues to have that, he's going to be one of the best coaches of this era.